Hey, come on in the room. Come on in the room. I hope y'all doing well today. Hey, come on in the room. Hold on for a minute, you all. I'll be right back. All right, you all, come on in the room. I am back. I'm going to do this quickly. I'm going to do this quickly. Baby, these people are something else. Oh, Lord. Oh, come on in the room. Come on in the room. Oh, Lord. All right, you all. I'm going to start. First of all, I want to thank you all for coming in. And my dog is looking good. Thank God she got all taken care of and everything is good and all is right with the world. I hope everything is going well with you all. What's up, living my best life? I hope you're doing well. Okay. I'm going to be really try to be quick. I doubt it, but I'll try. You know, I said what I said and I meant every word that I said. This thing, oh, you think you're better than anybody else and everybody else and stuff. That is sheer, utter ridiculousness. I'm shaking my head. When has it been okay for someone to come on a professional job interview dressed like they are getting ready to go to a cocktail party? When has it been okay for anyone to be popping gum and chewing gum and not knowing how to answer questions? It's not thinking that anyone is better than anyone. And let me say this, if you can't receive it, that's okay. Everybody's not going to receive what I have to say. And that is perfectly fine. And if you don't receive it, it probably wasn't meant for you. But I am going to say it is never acceptable to come to a job interview late, dress inappropriately. It's never right to do that. And I'm also telling you all that when you go interview, there are a few things you should do and that you should focus on. Most of these interviewers use behavior questions. Tell me a time when you did this. What happened? What was the outcome? That's what they want. I don't think that's thinking that you're better than anybody. I think that's giving pertinent information. And you know what? If you can't understand that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, I don't think they're better than anybody else. Maybe I'm letting you all know this because the interviews were not good. And and I did not call out anybody's name. I gave scenarios and situations. And yes, I did talk about the education, but I don't think they're better than anybody else. I really look at people who say that kind of stuff because I'm like, is it you? Because number one, knowledge is power. And maybe some people just need to be knowledgeable in areas. Do I know everything? No. No, I'm the first to tell you, no, I do not know everything. But if I'm telling you all I'm interviewing and what is hindering people from getting a job, then that's not thinking you're better than people. It may be you all, please remember these things before you go interview. And it's simple as that. Now, you may not like the delivery, and that's it. But this is my platform. I said what I said. I add more to it before I take anything back. And you know what? Can we get upset at people doxing? Can we get upset with people begging and needing a bicycle? Can we get upset with people drinking to the point where they're falling asleep on a chair or falling asleep on their live? I mean, nah, it's one thing because you old and you sleepy, but can we talk about those things? See, those are some things that are troubling to me. But helping people to interview so they may get a job and telling people others' downfalls so you don't repeat it, and we got issues with that. What is wrong with people? And then I was telling folk, about the school. And again, that's no slight to people. What I'm trying to say is if you got school age kids, you need to really be checking in on them to see if they're getting what they need to get. That's what I was stressing. But you know what? We don't see the big picture. All we can see is that visibly I was upset because the interviews were just really not the greatest. They really were not. They were not. So I said what I said. I don't care about Tim, never cared about what he had to say. And it's not I'm better than anybody. I have options and choices. And I do not apologize to anyone what God has blessed me with and how he has directed my path. I am not apologizing to anyone. I have never said, oh, I'm better than you, or I've never said that. Now, some people may think that, but then that's when you got to question yourself. Because it's funny, I don't think that people are better than me. I really don't think people are better than me. They may have a talent that is more developed than mine, but do I think they are better? No, absolutely not. I have never felt inferior to anyone. Those words won't even come out of my mouth. Now, have I heard some people talk to folk on YouTube like dogs? I don't get these people. We have content creators cursing people out, telling folk that they stupid and old women who male identified and all of this. I mean, I've heard the worst roasting of the subscribers. And then you have the nerve and the unmitigated gall to say that somebody think that they're better while we have heard content creators actually demean and try to diminish people. Are you serious? So all I'm saying to you all is if you go back and listen, all I'm saying is I was visibly upset. It was a long day. People did not prepare for the interviews. They did not do any history on the company whatsoever. And those are questions people ask at interviews. And maybe it's just the interviews you all are interviewing for. I don't know. I don't know. But all I'm saying is we have to do better as a people. And I mentioned who the people that I was talking about, and I didn't say anything wrong. That's correct, book and brother. The STAR method. Action and result. Situation. Oh, I forgot the T and action and result. That's exactly what they do. A behavior question. And people losing sleep over there, and I mean, you think you're better than no, 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 no. I don't think I'm better than anybody, but I don't apologize. And I will not apologize. That's some serious stuff when folk don't know how to interview. And people, and I'm telling y'all, some people don't know how to tell time. That's real. That's real. Now, maybe, thank you, Brooklyn Butterfly. Maybe people don't do that. Yeah. And you know, the people are afraid that somebody gonna find you, call your job. Well, you know what? Those are people's problems. And again, we ought to be ashamed of people who do that. We should be, absolutely. But again, you know, this is why I look at these people and shake my head because, you know, there's certain things I'm not going to do. There's certain things I don't engage in. And one thing I don't engage in is bitterness and hating. I don't engage in that. Anytime somebody's trying to do something for themselves, I'm all about it. Anytime somebody's trying to better and advance their life, I am all about it. And I did not say anything off color. I didn't call nobody out of their name. I was just telling you how people were presenting when they came in and why it was not looked upon highly in the interview. Then I told you about a person who actually did a stellar interview. That's it. What you should be doing is listening. And seem like people who always got to say something don't have no job. Don't have no job. They ain't interviewing because they don't have no job. I mean, it is absolutely, utterly ridiculous of, you know, what people got to talk about. And my thing is, I'm glad we're bringing this up. I'm glad we're bringing this up because I do think that there is some deficiency in our secondary education and is beginning to show in our higher education. I do believe that there's some deficiencies. I do believe because people are not getting a solid education that they are coming to these job interviews not prepared. That's not thinking you're better than somebody. That's just the plain truth. Ain't better than nobody. That's the truth. But you know what? People don't focus on education. So they're busy, too busy fighting folk, too busy doing XYZ and trying to find out who Lemon dealing with now. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with that, but this is some serious stuff. And I was visibly upset because these people don't get it. And the sad part about it is, you know, they go home, unfortunately, and then they don't get a call back or they get a rejection letter. And then, you know, and, you know, we can't tell folk why because we're not in that business of doing that. But I'm telling you why. I'm telling you. So hopefully somebody will hear this and say, you know what? I really need to do these things before I even go out there. It is about looking your best when you're going to a job interview. It is about having a well put together resume. And you should have more than one. Even if you emailed the resume or sent the resume, you should still have at least 2 or 3 resumes just in case somebody doesn't have one. I mean, I'm just being real. You need to be aware of how you are sitting and that you're not rocking back and forth. You know, I mean, it's little things, you all. And this is not thinking you're better than anyone else. This is about a damn job interview. This is about making sure your resume is on point. And nothing that I said was telling anybody I think I am better than anybody else. But you know what? If you think I'm better than everybody else, or you feel that I feel that way, then you hold that. You hold that. You hold that. Because again, that squarely lies with you. That squarely lies. And my thing is this is YouTube. At the end of the day, I have done my daily duty and my due diligence to make people aware. If you see something, say something. If somebody is getting mad because I am telling people how not to bomb and mess up or totally fail at a interview, these are some things you might not want to do. I just can't believe though. People have made such a big thing. Maybe it's just not it's no content, I guess. I guess it's no content on YouTube and this is what they have to have. You think you better than it? I don't. I don't. I work just like everybody else. I pay my bills just like everybody else. But what I'm not going to do is be beholden to you all and let your opinion shape who I am. Because I didn't need your opinions to get where I am in the first place, and I won't need them now. That's the real deal. It's a bunch of control. And I just won't deal with it now. You don't like it, that's it. You don't like my disposition, then don't listen. I'm just real with that. So anyway, um, that's my feelings. Those are my thoughts. I ain't taking out one look, I ain't taking one dot away. I'm not uncrossing one T. It's how it stands with me. This is how I feel. Knowledge is power. Education is the key to unlock doors. It gives you options. Not to say not having a degree doesn't give you options, but it gives you more options. And then I even went far as to say, even if you just get a high school education, at least make sure it's good. At least make sure you know what you're doing when you're doing a resume and prepare yourself. I mean, even when I'm preparing to do online, there are some things that you need to do online. You know, you wouldn't believe how many people are not in a quiet space doing an interview, and it just goes to show you that folk are not prepared. And I truly believe that the powers that be love this kind of stuff. I just don't get it, you all. I just don't get it. So anyway, and I'm really not upset with the people. It's just I don't know if they're trying to have a slant on something. I don't know what's going on, but my thing is, when has it ever been wrong to tell people, hey, these are some things you may not want to wear? You don't come with chip nail polish. I mean, not only do men see it, but women see it. I mean, really, is that being better than somebody else? I'm just asking, is that being better than somebody else? That's not being better than somebody else. Is telling somebody to know the culture of the company. I know somebody who was trying to work for Valero, and they were saying how they love to shop in their stores, and the man said, "No, we don't. Valero is not in the retail business anymore. We sold that off." Again, you have to know. Anyway, it's really interesting. I don't know anything about any. Well, the young lady came up, I guess, and explained her situation. And you know what? I'm not explaining myself. I'm just letting people know how twisted people are. A bird named Taco. How we have fallen so how we've fallen so far down that somebody telling people to a man should have a blue, black, and a gray suit, and a woman should have a nice suit that's with blue and maybe red, a power suit. That's thinking you better than somebody. No, it's not. It's saying that this is what people are looking for, especially in a professional situation where you may be a manager. That's all I'm saying. You still have to be presentable. You still have to be presentable. Yeah, you all. I just think people don't have any content, and people getting upset because of this. And like I said, I'm just telling you, y'all, let me say this. Just be focused and know that people are looking, and they do talk. People have to discuss whether you're a viable candidate. They're going to talk about your strengths and your weaknesses, and they're going to really discuss, not because they think you're a bad person, but they have to really try. They got to pick the best candidate. Okay, they have to pick the best candidate. Do you know how much money goes into hiring somebody? And you want those people to cross the finish line and finish their probation. Nobody wants to have to go through the rehiring process again. Nobody don't want to do that again. Are you serious? Yeah, just dress for success. They have many branches. We have a couple in San Antonio. Brooklyn, just be clean, be presentable, you know. And then I said, if you don't have a suit, at least wear a dress shirt, some slacks, and a dress, some nice dress shoes. I mean, that will even go. That's being better than somebody. Because I was saying somebody was chewing gum, and somebody was saying, you know what I mean, you know what I mean. I mean, you don't do that on an interview. Do you think that you would you hire somebody like that? I mean, you know, I'm just, you know, yeah. And people always say, well, you put yourself in, I have been in folks' shoes. I have been in their shoes. This is why I can tell you. I can't believe the people who are pushing this like Jay Wilson thinks he's better than people and how he talks down to people. No, no, this is knowledge. I came on because I was visibly upset because the interviews were not good. I think I'm better than the people. I was disappointed in the interviews. That's if you. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. And I also said I really, really think the root of this issue is, you know, we're not doing what we need to do in our educational system. That is my hypothesis. That is not saying that you're better than somebody. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ludicrous. Very much time wasted. I mean, I told somebody that you should have two good follow up questions after the interview. Do you have any questions to ask us? People expect you to have them to ask them something, you know? And then if you don't have to ask them, you at least say, well, you all have covered everything thoroughly. I appreciate your time and effort. And I really don't have any questions. I mean, you all did an awesome job with explaining everything. At least say something. And then I was talking about a handshake. What is that? That you think you better than somebody because you told somebody to do a handshake? Oh my god! Y'all, I'm laughing because I think it's funny and it equates to you think, well, if that means I'm better than somebody, then damn it, I can't help that. I can't help that. I can't help that. I look. I can't help that. I really can't help that. You think you better than somebody else because you advocating education. You think you better than somebody else because you trying to say, hey, you all, you don't come into a job interview doing this. You think you think you better than somebody? No, no, no. It's sad that we don't share that. I mean, stuff that we should be sharing, we don't share. Stuff that we should be talking about to uplift our folk, we don't do. It's to the point where this foolishness has just encompassed our innermost being. That's all we can think about. It's a mess on YouTube where there is a real world out there with real consequences and situations. And we need to let people know, hey, you all, as Brooklyn Butterfly said, they have a lot of behavior questions. They call them the star. It's the star method. Um, you know, situation, task, action, and result. That's star. What is the situation? What did you do? What was your action? And then how did it end? The result. That's star. Companies use that questioning. I told somebody, which is really funny, nobody didn't want to hear about your whole life starting from high school. When they say that, they want to hear your work history. What have you done that is congruent with the job that you are applying for? What is thinking you're better than somebody telling people that you may have to get they have this thing now where you can put your resume in and it will tell you is it gonna get picked up by the words that they use in the job description? Where is that saying that I'm better than anybody? I just, I'm just, I'm confused. But if that means I'm better than somebody, then oh well. I don't think that. I don't think I'm better than Chi-Town Demon. I don't think I'm better than Keena. I don't think I'm better than Itsy Bitsy. I don't think I'm better than Brooklyn Butterfly. I don't think I'm better than Vivian. I don't think I'm better than anybody. Each one teach one. Period. Listen to what's being said. Listen to what's being said. And I told no lies. I told no lies. I told no lies. You can't talk about something, you pay attention to details and details is spelled wrong. I told no lies. Let me say this. If you're running late for an interview because you're stuck in traffic, you call. This is XYZ. And you know what? I am on my way, but there was an accident. And I am so sorry that I am late. I slated to be there at this time. You let people know. I mean, you don't come to a job interview 30 minutes early. 10 minutes early is the most because people may need you to fill out some things. But I'm telling you, when I used to interview people and when I interview people, you got a lot of stuff going on for work. So you don't want to have to sit there and entertain people while you're trying to get work done. So this is why it is safe to come 10 minutes at the most early for a job interview. Those are, I don't know. Maybe we're not interviewing. And maybe the jobs we're interviewing are not the jobs that require this kind of knowledge. I'm just saying. And and telling people this is not saying that you think you're better than they are. Don't mistake passion for being better than somebody. I don't even believe we use those words. Ugh. Anyway, and I said what I said. Everybody can throw shade and come at you, and then when you politely tell facts, then people get mad, and I don't really care. Well, Itsy Bitsy, that's how he thinks. And maybe in 2025, he really needs to listen to the message and what's being said because no one was directly talking to him. And all of a sudden you think somebody is better than you. That's ridiculous. I don't think I'm better than any of the people who interviewed. But knowledge is power. And the sad part about it is I even mentioned churches that our churches don't even do a lot of stuff anymore that will help develop kids. Not all, but a lot of them don't. Keena, and I hate to say that, but and I mean, if that's your decision and choice to live that way, that's your choice. You did that by choice. I just don't, yeah, yeah. That was, I think, the advice that I gave in the situations were in real time, real life scenarios. These are things that I am seeing. So you don't get in a situation where you're doing the same thing. Brooklyn girl, that's what I'm saying. That it's right there. It's right there. And then people be co-signing stuff. And I'm like, y'all be co-signing some crazy stuff. And like I said, I'll stand by myself. I don't need people to stand with me. I don't need an amen corner, especially when you know you're right, especially when you know that your information is right, especially when you know your information is right. You don't need people to stand with you. That's the whole thing. I'll stand alone and have those people think that I don't feel any guilt. I said what I said in good faith. I said what I said because it is disturbing that people are coming to interviews not being prepared. And it's not black people. And the thing is, we done turned it around saying, you know what? You know what? You know what? You know what? I have options. I have options. They've already tried. They already tried. They have already tried. They already tried. You know, that's censorship. That is really censorship. That's censorship. And you know what? I'm going to let people think what they want to think. But that's censorship. And I'm not going to live my life in fear and not say what I want to because somebody think you better than they are. And I'm not going to do that. Who wants to live their life in fear? And I mean, I'm not telling you, it's not like I'm telling folks take money or no. I am telling you how to interview. I am telling you how to do this. And I am not going to be silent because of that. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Get to the interview. Look over your resume. Go over some practice answers that you may say or what you think people may ask you. Why is that being better than somebody else? I'm just not getting that. I was telling somebody, are you all mad because I said make sure your fingernails are painted and there's no chip fingernail polish and your fingernails are clean? Did people get upset because of that? I mean, that's not thinking you're better than somebody. That's just grooming. And people are looking on that on the job. You're in management, you're representing the company. Mm. And let me say this, Itsy Bitsy Shay, it's not even that with me. I mean, you have better things to argue over, and you're upset because I'm telling people, hey, this is how you go about doing your job interview, and you're upset about that. I don't like how he said, well, okay, then don't listen. But I'm not changing anything. I am uniquely me and don't care. And I'm going to stay me. I am uniquely me and I'm good with that. And if you don't like it, that's your problem. And you can be uniquely you. This is America. I don't have to be like you. Akina, I don't know what he's had. And I really don't care because I'm really not over in his bushes watching. And and I didn't because I'm like, I'm it's the same old tired reads, the same old tired this. But, I'm hearing Tracy talk about this. And I'm like, girl, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I hope you wouldn't do it. But I'm not going to not say what's right because somebody get mad or no, it's right. And I don't care who said it. I'm telling you, you have to be prepared for interviews. And I do think there's a correlation between our education system and what people are doing down to their resumes. That ain't calling people stupid. That's just saying that we have an issue. Ain't calling nobody stupid and thinking you better than somebody because you have some knowledge on something. That's silly. And I will say it again, you all, when you all go interview, be prepared. Have your stuff together. Be aware of noise, whether it's a noisy air conditioner or what. If you hear noise, then be prepared to speak over that noise. Don't be afraid to say, I didn't catch that. Could you please repeat the question? It's okay. But that's it. Kina, that's the problem. Think somebody better than somebody. That's so weak. And especially when you're dealing with the job market. Ugh. But you know what? I hope it sparks debate. I hope it sparks debate. I hope people start talking about it. I hope people really start talking about it. I don't think I'm better than anybody else. It's just how I'm seeing people interview, and it's not good. And I'm telling you who had a successful interview. I didn't tell you anybody's names or any of this, but I'm saying that there's certain things you don't wear. There's certain things you don't do. Come popping gum at an interview. That's not you don't do that. Uh it's something else. It's something else. And you're baffled. You scratch your head. And my thing is preparation. It's just being intentional, saying, "Hey, I want this job, and let me know a little bit about this job." Uh, anyway, I'm a fiance. I love. I don't have nothing to do with that right now. I really don't. It's called life skills. Yeah. And we better really start telling our subscribers things that are going to add to their life. It's easy to sit here and feed people trash all day, but feed them something once in a while that's going to cause them to think. And I don't think anything I said even resembled, I think I'm better than somebody. It's like these are some things you got to do to obtain a job. To obtain a job. When is helping somebody prepare for a job and successfully getting a job thinking you're better than they are? Just sad. It's sad, y'all. It's sad. So I had to come on here because I went over to Tracy's and I heard her talking. I'm like, really? Is this what we doing? I'm like, and I'm just trying to figure out, how do I think I'm better than somebody? Where in my whole vlog did I say I think I'm better than somebody? When did you hear me say I'm better than somebody? I told you all about how people came in and what was going on and how they couldn't answer the question. That's not saying you're better than somebody. That's saying that they weren't prepared for the interview. Um, I was telling them about the star questions or the behavior questions, and I surely enough said, "Hey, at the end of the day, when people ask you star questions, they want to know what you are doing. They don't want to know what you would do. They want to know what have you done or what are you doing. Name a time when you had to make some decisions at the spur of the moment. What did you do and how did it work out?" Well, I had to make a decision about some classes, and what I did was collect data from the last classes to help me in my decision, because even though it was a quick decision, I still could use data to justify what I was doing. So I felt confident in what I did by using the data from the last courses, and I was correct in my assessments, and the class worked out. That's what I did. Not, well, if I was in that situation, no, they don't want to know that. And that's what I was trying to say. It's just really, I mean, Tracy, I'm really surprised. I don't think I'm better than anybody else. And I'm hearing you say that, and I don't understand how telling people, "Hey, you don't dress like this and this and this" when you come to an interview. And Tracy, I don't care about people doing that. I won't be censored because I know you didn't say anything bad, but I'm all right. I'm all right. I mean, I have weathered many storms, and we have weathered many storms, but I don't think I'm better than anybody. And you got to look at the source and who's saying that. I understand that, but I don't think I'm better than anybody. And I tell you what, it just gets me that people who are not doing this or people who are not in the situation always have something to say, and it's good. And I hope it brings up a bigger discussion. And I'm not upset. I'm just saying, I mean, it is what it is. And I hope it does bring up a bigger discussion because we can talk about a whole lot of mess, but I don't want people to go and well, let me say this about the gold tooth and all of that stuff. You won't work at Delta. It's Delta's policy. You won't work at Delta. It's not saying that you're better than anybody else. I know this for a fact. I know this for a fact. You don't wear braids. You can wear it after you get the job. But what I'm telling people is when people used to ask me, well, how do I get on? I used to help them. It's not because I think I'm better than somebody else. I'm telling you, certain companies have certain cultures. And you're not better than anybody else. That's all I'm saying. So I mean, everybody is even with the tattoos. I mean, I know people who have tattoos who work at Delta, but they weren't visible because they will pull you aside. How do I know? Because I was an in-flight manager and I used to have to pull flight attendants, period, point blank. So it's not about being better, but I really want to know why people feel that way when people are talking about things that can help people. I was talking about that particular woman because you don't dress like a cocktail waitress coming to a job interview where you need to be professional. And I wish somebody would have tapped her and said, "Hey baby, you can't wear that." It's not that kind of party. That ain't thinking you better than somebody else. That's knowing how to dress appropriately. And if you don't know, ask the secretary or someone, "Hey, I'm doing this job. What is the culture?" I'm not going to go on a construction site dressed in a suit. I may put on a nice slacks and a shirt and go on, but you have to know. Tracy girl, they try. They try. They really try, but it is what it is. It's them. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not going to stop talking about this type of information because somebody is mad. I ain't call out nobody name. I didn't say any names. I'm just giving scenarios. It could have been from any place. It could have been from Delta. It could have been from my job at Strayer. It could have been anywhere. All I'm saying is people need to be very careful when they're doing these interviews. And I'm not going to stop giving out valuable information because somebody think I'm better than somebody. That's ridiculous. That we sit up here and cuss people out and talk about people and do all of this stuff and nobody says a word. But as soon as you start talking about something to help people, and I do think it's a correlation with what the education system is doing now. We don't have a lot of OTech and tech. We don't have a lot of places to prepare people to do interviews. They've taken speech out of a lot of our public schools, speech communication, public speaking. So no, but I don't think I'm better than anybody else. I'm not upset, but I really wanted to make a point. I'm not upset. I'm not, but I think it's a bigger picture. And let me say this. I said my low wealth brothers who may be lower class or middle class, white, black, and Hispanic people. I went through the whole gamut, but I did say when America has a cold, black America has the flu. It has always been said because we don't get those chances. and all of that stuff. People, we already got stuff stacked against us. So we don't need anybody to be looking at us any kind of way coming in. We got to be, like I said, there was a lady who came in. When I tell you, mama was fierce. When I tell you, she had on she had on a nice heel, shoes were polished, she was polished, she was very poised and calm and could talk. She answered the questions. She knew how to cut off. Her answers were solid. She knew the assignment. Her resume was impeccable. Again, yeah, you got to stand out. And what I'm really saying is that if people are interviewing like this, then it shouldn't be hard for a lot of people. And that ain't saying you better than somebody. It means you prepared. Aurora Divine. I am not talking about all companies. I am talking about Delta Airlines. And as a former employee and in-flight manager, it was a no-no. And that's all I'm saying. And whether you think it's right or not, that's Delta's standard. And that's who they want representing them. And if they don't want no gold tooth, then there's no gold tooth. I'm talking about Delta Airlines. Now, you can go and you can go and maybe you can do that some places, but you're not going to do that at Delta Airlines. And I'm being real. Now, whether you like it or not, that's the reality of it. And you're right. You're right. But baby, people played the part to get that job. And when I was working for Delta, it was hard to get into that airline industry. It was hard. Now it may be a little different, but back in the day, it was hard. And that's all I'm saying. And anything that would weed you out, they were so cold at Delta. If you didn't pass one of the tests, they would tap you. There was so many people being tapped and going home. If you showed up 2 minutes late, they would tap you and we didn't see you no more. It was a lady who didn't pass the drug test. Right before graduation, they tapped her and we ain't never see her again. And let's not get with probation. Oh, a lot of people didn't make it through the probation. You don't sit up there and party all night and then have to get on a plane. Oh, Miss Delta don't play that. I'm just telling you. And you cannot speak to something unless you've gone through it. And this is what I tell people, knowledge is power. And I wore the blue, now purple now. They done changed that uniform. But I wore that. I still got the uniform in the closet. I wore that bad boy. I know how she operates. So I'm not saying that, and maybe people got mad because of that, but I'm just telling you what that company requires. And whether you like it or not, that's what the company requires. But I don't think I'm better than anybody else. I think it's silly to even say that. That's when people really have issues within themselves. And I understand, Tracy, you're saying what Tim has said, and I get it. But I'm just being real. I'm not apologizing. I don't think I'm better than anybody else. That is solid advice. I said nothing wrong. You don't dress any kind of way going to no interview. You need to be prepared. Know something about the company. Know something about the job you're going to do. Meet your back, and it's so unacceptable. You know, um, It's really soft skills and customer service, and just being present. The interview should be like a conversation of getting to know who you are and really letting people know what you bring to the table. I'm a fiance. I know that's right. It ain't about me, but I'm gonna tell you all why I think my thing is I'm just putting it out there because I'm seeing what hurts people and why some people don't get jobs. And when you see something, say something. If you see something, say something. And hopefully somebody will be able to receive it and use it and be successful. Well, they have Dress for Success. They have 5 locations in San Antonio, and they're willing to help people. I used to work with that organization. I work with homeless populations, and that's how we got them dressed. So if that's all she had, then she could have been referred from Dress to Success. But that's not my problem when we're coming to do this job interview. See, that's what y'all got to realize, baby. We're looking at everything. And I'm sorry, Dress for Success, do what you got to do. There are programs to help you with clothing. Dress for Success is one of them. And I know because I've worked very closely with San Antonio Dress for Success. So the human lie detector, it is what it is. Dress for Success. There are places that you can go and get help. I'm sorry. You got to be resourceful. And I'm not trying to say the lady is a bad person, but it was interesting. Well, you got to get to know that. And this is why knowledge is power. And this is what I keep on saying. And hopefully somebody will listen to this and they'll know about Dress for Success and know what to do. So next time they won't have an issue. But it's not the company's problem because you don't know that. You see what I'm saying? Y'all making excuses. It's not the company's problem. The company is not a social worker. The company is an organization that's getting qualified people that fit their culture. So the company don't care about that. They're not a social worker. They're not. This is a for-profit company, boo boo. It's a for-profit company, and especially if you're going to be representing people or representing the company. Yeah. So, child, please. Well, yeah, these companies, baby, they are not. They're not social workers. They're not social workers. And this is what I keep on saying. Knowledge is power. We want to make excuses. And it's not being better than people. It's just knowing. And you know what? Maybe I was just blessed too. And again, I thank God for where I was from because when we were in high school, the Links and the Omegas, they had a job seminar for us, and I never forget it. I don't know even though this lady is living. Her name was Sue, and she was the general manager at JB Ivy's. And that lady took time out for us to do a seminar of how to get a job. And she did such a great seminar, and I got hired at JB Ivy's. That was my first retail department store job. And I worked at Ivy's, Bird Eyes, and Hex department store. And that lady taught us how to dress and how we interviewed as well. And again, white woman took the time out, these black men, and gave us a seminar, period. Let me say, when it comes to natural hair and things, um, sometimes you got to be very careful with that. But every culture is different. Every culture is different, far as corporate culture. Um, yeah, yeah. So you know, but sometimes, y'all, let me say this. Sometimes you don't have time to really pull a person aside because it's like one interview after another interview after another interview. And again, you have to be careful of what you say to people because, some people want to get feedback. Some companies don't give feedback. There can be some liability in that. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I think that we have to be intentional. And maybe people don't know that when you're doing a job interview, especially with a major corporation, you have to do some research, know the company's culture, know something about the company, be aware of what they're doing, any new um, projects or anything going on. You may want to be in the know because people appreciate that you are taking the time to, find these things out. I'm just saying. And this is why I say, you all, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And you all really got me to thinking maybe we need to help our brothers and sisters and people without the knowledge how to do well and get these jobs, what they need to know, teaching soft skills, how to be on time to a job, how to prioritize their time. Because that's a big question that comes up in interviews. How do you prioritize your time? How do you handle things? My thing is, I'm going to, you know, look at my time frame and give myself a time window of how things or when things need to be done. Some things may be done quicker and I can get those out of the way so I can focus on those larger things. But people want to know how you prioritize your task. Those are big things. Mitchy Black, they do. That was a question and folk was just stumbling over it. But again, you can't tell people. I'm just saying, and just because you giving people sound advice, that don't mean you think you're better than people. That don't mean you think you're better than people. That means you may have some insight on something. Well, I don't look down on people. I'm realistic. I'm realistic. Don't come with no chip fingernail polish. Know the culture so you won't be embarrassed. Not looking down on anybody. Now, if you feel that way, that's your problem. Now you feel how you want to. Nothing I said was wrong. It was nothing I said was wrong. Nothing. And I don't take not one thing back. I add more to it before I take it back. We live in a real world where people don't give five darns about you. When they say we're having an interview, they have an expectation. They have an expectation that you already know what's to be expected. Ernest Wilson, I don't give a damn what you think. I don't have to. I don't answer to you. And again, if you can't receive it, don't receive it. But for those who receive it, it is what it is. Well, don't listen. Maybe it wasn't for you then. Maybe it wasn't for you. First of all, I don't owe y'all any explanation. I told you all I was already frustrated of what's going on, and I told you why. So it was part frustration, it's part learning. But baby, it's not for you then. It ain't for you. It ain't for you. And if it's not for you, then it's not. But the world is harsh, and they're not going to tell you nicely. And they're going to tell you in a way. And if you think somebody is going to cradle you and coddle you, you're wrong. And maybe that's just the problem with some of you all. Maybe that's how you've been raised. Maybe it's your generation. I don't know. But all I'm going to say is if you can't receive it, then it wasn't for you. And maybe you don't need to come on the platform. But I don't need to be hot or cold or da da da. I said what I said. And I ain't apologizing for it. It's the delivery, whatever, whatever. All I know is you can say it's the delivery, but I was actually in the situation real time. Say what you want to say. Say what you want to say. I'm telling you. So you may not like the delivery, but the message is on point and on key. And if the person who delivered makes you upset, then you might need to look into that. But I don't apologize for it. It's all good. Baby, I don't even worry about these people. And let them say what they want. It is what it is. But again, I'm telling you all, nothing will change. Nothing will change. You take that information and you do what you will with it. If some people think that I was talking down to people, then that's their perception. But if somebody can take it and use it, it is what it is. And if one person got something out of it, I don't care what these other people have to say. He think he better than other people. Do you think I'm better than other people? You think I'm better than you. And that's something that you're struggling with because I don't feel that way about anybody. And I don't think I'm better than anybody. Knowledge is power. And you may not like the information. It is what it is. It's for me. This is my platform. This is my platform. And I don't have a middle manager. And I said what I said. And if it wasn't meant for social media, then take your ass off. Get the hell off and don't come over. But I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. And if you don't like it, maybe you need to find another place to go because I'm not stopping because you don't like it. I don't care what you see every Sunday. I don't care about that. Am I supposed to be scared and shake now because you do that? I don't care about that. I'm a musician, baby. So, okay, am I supposed to be scared because you say that and that you address me? I want you to address me. You come right up and address me. I want you to do that. I want you to do that. You come right on and do that. I want you to meet me. I'll be there on Sunday. You meet me on Sunday. We can meet with the pastor, as a matter of fact. So you come on. Honey, people think folks scared of them, and you can child by. It is what it is. I said what I said, and I still meant it. People don't control you. That's the problem right now. All of this is about control, manipulation, and all of this stuff because you don't like it. Well, you don't like it. That's it. I don't like a lot of things, but this is America. This is America. And what I said was tight. So it is what it is. Anyway, let these people do what they got to do. I'm not mad. It is what it is. I just think it's funny. I think it's funny. Anyway, Um, no, it's just for real. You just don't wear certain things to a job interview. And I'm not representing the company. I'm just telling people what you do in an interview. And I have a right to say there's certain things you don't do in an interview. So anyway, and I'm not behaving in any manner. I'm just telling people, yeah. And then I do think it's a correlation between education and how people interview. Just because you don't like it, that don't mean I'm gonna stop. I said what I said, and I didn't say anything wrong. What I said was right. What I said was correct. And hopefully some people listen. And if they're doing something that is not quite right, that they change it so they can get better results. So anyway, yeah. So that's what I gotta say. Oh, I love this. But you downgrading people. I didn't downgrade people. There's certain things you don't wear to an interview. That's not downgrading people. That's saying you don't chew gum in an interview. That's not downgrading people. You don't use too many ums and ahs in an interview. That's real. I'm just telling you how to be a better interviewer. So me telling people how to be a better interviewer is bad. That's what you're saying now. I'm just wondering. It's bad now because it's coming from me. Does it make you upset because I have a role where I do that? Is that what it is? I'm just interested. I mean, really. I think it's funny. Miss Douglas, that's the whole thing. This is just old fashioned common sense. Old fashioned common sense. I just think it's funny, honey. You downgrading people. I ain't downgrade nobody. I ain't called nobody a B. I ain't called nobody this and this. No, I'm just saying you don't wear certain things. You don't have chip fingernail polish coming into a job interview. Okay. You come in with your best self, presenting your best self with your best resume, and that's how you do it. I don't know why people get mad at that. That you think you're better than people because you're telling people how to interview? Ah, okay, you think you're better than people and you downgrading people because you telling people what they need to do to be successful in an interview and you downgrading people because you making people feel bad. Oh, child, please. Most employers will probably appreciate me coming out here and giving y'all these tips. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm not representing the company. I'm not representing the company. I'm talking about an interview. I don't think I even mentioned the company. But anyway, I don't care what you think. I said what I said. It's true, whether you like it or not, and I don't care. And I'm talking about it, and I feel the same way. And guess what? It is for content, and it's good content, and it's helpful content. And if you feel that it's a downgrade, then you need to look at yourself. That's what you need to look at. If I'm downgrading people. Oh Lord. No, I wasn't. I was away from the job. I wasn't in the job. I wasn't in the area. So yeah, but whatever. But whatever. I said what I said. Don't wear chip fingernail polish. Make sure your shoes are acceptable. Make sure you have a nice handshake. Make sure you answer the questions and think about the questions and that you answer it. And I told you how to answer it. Make sure you're not chewing gum. Be aware of how you are moving because you don't want to be swaying in a chair. Make sure your resume is on point. Make sure you know how to tell time. Baby, that baby, you better than people, honey. You better than people. You better than people when you telling people that. Ooh, you think you better than people. Okay, downgrade people. I ain't downgrade nobody. Baby, you get this in a class. You get this in the class. I said have a mint, eye to eye contact. Yes. I ain't better than nobody because I done told somebody how to do this. I think it's crazy. You think you better than people because you telling folk how to be successful on an interview. So you think you better than people. Oh, here we go. Maybe they had a nervous condition. All right, because I didn't have a problem. I don't have a problem interviewing. I don't have a problem interviewing. I interview, so I don't have a problem interviewing. Now it's a nervous condition. Y'all see these slants? You see the slants? Maybe you need to stop making excuses for people and just realize that on a for-profit corporate job, people don't care. Can you do the work and do you interview well? Period. Yeah, but I'm interviewing people though. I can't keep a job, but I'm interviewing people. Okay. Okay, whatever. But I'm interviewing people. Okay. Even when people came for a job, I got one. Baby, I will always have a job. Y'all crazy. Anyway, it's all good. I can't keep a job. Okay. Let me see. Delta Airlines, 15 years. Strayer, 8 years. Yeah. I've been on some good jobs for long periods of time. Yes. I can't keep one. All right. That's all right, baby. I want you to know what I'm talking about. Repetition is great so that people know exactly what you're talking about. So nervous condition. Look at trying to write a slant. I know you don't like Jay Wilson. I know you mad because Jay Wilson is doing Jay Wilson's thing. I know you mad because, yeah, yeah, it's so sad. Honey, the vitriol, the hate is so palpable. It is so real. It is so intense and thick. And you just gotta love it. You just gotta love it. I just I love it. Oh, they hate it. But let me say this: it's nothing you can do about it. I'm always gonna be me. Period. I'm always going to do what I gotta do. See, that's the thing. You can't stop it. I can't keep a job, but I'm interviewing. Okay. Well, you keep on. Hold it, baby. Hold that. Hold that. Hold that. I'm all good. Woo. I am myself. That's why I do what I do. And that's why I don't have a problem with employment because I am myself. I know you have issues with me, but that's good. And I love you too. You keep on having issues because it seems like the problem is you. I don't have a problem with you. And I tell you, you must be real invested, but you keep on watching. I don't watch you, but you keep on watching me. Hopefully you learn something. You keep on watching, boo. Anyway, not only do I have YouTube, I have things off of YouTube. I have things off of YouTube. Yes, Lord. I have things off of YouTube. Ooh, Lord. Ain't that right, Lyric? We got things off of YouTube, baby. Anyway. Okay. Whatever you say. All right. Well, I said what I said and I don't apologize. And I'll say it again. If it's bad tomorrow, I'll say it again tomorrow. Ain't no big whoop to me. Whether you like it or not, you won't censor me. I said what I said. So I guess we're at an impasse because nothing is changing here. Absolutely nothing. So anyway. So good. I'm glad you don't have a problem. So I'll be doing the same thing probably tomorrow if I feel like it. How about that? Ooh, Lord. Yep, it's a small place, but then I'll be playing for someone else. So what I got to do with anything? Maybe I like small congregations. So what I got to do with anything? You mad? Oh, because it's some advice and people felt that they have to do the most. They got to do the most. Mm-mm. I bet you won't let your job know your behavior. Okay. Mm-mm. I don't have a job. Remember, I'm unemployed. I can't keep a job. So remember, I don't have a job. So yeah, I can't let something that I don't have know anyhow. So yeah, so I don't have a job. You remember? I do Uber and Airbnb, so I don't have a job. So I don't have a job. Your behavior, okay, good. hmm Yep, I'm good. Well, that's good. So we don't have nothing to worry about. I'm good. But I said what I said, and whether you like the behavior or not, I meant it, and I won't take it back. Sorry you feel that way. I'm getting something to drink. Yes, and if I want to eat, I can. I'm good. But no, I'm getting something to drink. Look, baby, they even know my eating schedule. That's great. You so obsessed. So obsessed. Okay. Oh my God, so obsessed. These people are so obsessed. I love these little fans because that's what they are, obsessed fans. Mm-mm-mm. Love these obsessed fans. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay, whatever you say, baby. I'm good. Oh Lord, let them stay. They need this attention. They need this validation. They like when Jay Wilson speak to them. That's why they continue this because they like speaking to me. They crushing. That's what it is. Hey, Queen Tulsa. Well, if it bites me, this won't be the first time it bit. And when it bit the last time, I got $3,000, and when it bit the other time, I got a job, child. It ain't no big deal. I live in a major, major metropolitan area, so it is what it is. Uh, how about that? How about that? Let's see who you are. You come on camera so we can see who you are, and let's see if it bites you since you're so concerned about me. All of this over how to prepare for an interview. Child, ain't that something? All of this for preparing over an interview, folk this pressed and twisted out of shape. Well, it was something that I didn't have, so it was great. It was great when people donated. Are you mad because of that too? Are you mad because of that? I was appreciative. Yeah, I was appreciative. It is what it is. It is what it is, baby. Ooh, honey, the girls are mad, honey. Ooh, look at the trolls. They just, oh Lord. Oh Lord. They mad because Queen Tulsa, I told people how to prepare for an interview and what not to do. And I think I'm better than people. And I downgraded people because they didn't wear the correct attire to an interview. And then this person said, well, maybe they didn't have the clothes. And I'm like, well, maybe they need to go to Dress for Success. Because when you're doing an interview, you want to do everything that aligns with the corporation. I'm just saying. But, it is what it is. So, honey, folk are mad, and you got somebody mad over there. And honey, I'm so here for it. I am so here for it. What's up, Queen Tulsa?
Hey, how are you, Pastor?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Well, look, you don't have to depend on handouts. I'm not mad that the people gave. You mad? I mean, you think you better than me. You think that's what it is. You think you better than me now. It seemed like you downgrading me. It seemed like you downgrading me. Oh my God, you downgrading me. You think you better than me? Oh my God. Anyway,
You know what? It is what it is. You just can't.
yeah, I
Everybody's
just
not gonna receive it.
yeah, everybody is not, but at the end of the day, I um I don't really focus on those people. People are miserable. People are bitter. I'm better. I don't have time to be bitter. I'm better, and that's what you got to do. I just think it is sad how people have to go at these things. But I said what I said, Queen Tulsa, and it is what it is. How you been doing?
You know what, Pastor? Really, I've just been focusing on my content for real,
Okay.
because like the beef sector is cool, but hot topics and stuff like that, that's really been getting that's like really my thing. So really just kind of just falling back and just letting people, do them. I might jump on panels here and there, but really just focusing on me.
Hmm. Yes.
What's up, Jay Wilson? How you doing? Happy
I'm
New
doing
Year.
well. Happy New Year.
Yes, I am one of your harshest critics, but I will.
Okay.
Hello, Miss
There's
Tulsa.
guests in here.
Hello, Miss Tulsa. I didn't see you. Nobody can see
Hi,
it on that
Smith.
dark purple going. But what I was saying is, I agree with you. What you saying is what mostly white people are saying at the dinner table. Um, so you are absolutely 100% correct that people have to research the companies that come be professional, dress appropriately. So I don't understand what the fallout is. I think what it is that you're a mirror to some individuals. It's like when somebody get a good job, they instantly tell their relatives, "Oh, you think you better than everybody because you working for that Fortune 500 company." So that's how I see it. That's how I interpret the situation.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, if you're cussing somebody out, no one has to say anything about it. But I don't think I said anything incorrect. The lady had a cocktail dress on. You don't do that. You don't do that. I mean, and you're right. It was the first thing. People like, did she know that this was not for that? Again, and I'm just telling folk because those things happen. You have to know that they have star questions, and
Can
they're
we
going to
take?
ask those star questions. Yeah.
You said, okay, hold on. Now, this beautiful young lady went to on a job interview. Am I following you?
Hmm.
And she decided to put on a cocktail dress.
It was a after five dress.
What was the job for?
Um, it was a management position.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was a management position. And I mean, that's what I'm saying. And if you're not sure, you need to ask somebody, but it was a management position.
If I was to hire her, it's like, nope, she gonna be drinking in the office.
Well, I don't know all about that, but it was a management position. And I didn't, and I'm not downgrading the lady. She just didn't wear something appropriate for that interview. And I'm not gonna lie, I was extremely frustrated. So as I was leaving, I had that conversation. And the conversation was a correlation too between, education and what people are not doing now. I mean, seriously, some people do not know how to tell time on a regular clock because all they've seen is digital. So it is what it is. But yeah, I just, I think it's the person who's saying it, and it is what it is. I'm used to it, so no big thing.
But we
I'm
need to
sure
see
she knew it was the right attire, but maybe that was the best. That's why you go to dress for success.
Yeah,
That's
but
why you go to Dress for Success, and that's why you'll find something that's appropriate. And my thing is, it was a very fancy cocktail dress, so yeah, but that's not appropriate. And and again, this is a corporate setting, so you not knowing is not going to help you, because this is not a social work thing. This is not a school situation where people have the expectation that you should know this already. Yeah.
yeah, but that's the problem, Jay Wilson. Like that's not what's occurring in our schools. They're not being taught this, especially in this virtual world that we live in, on how to
Hmm.
prepare the interviews.
Yeah, yeah. So this person here is, I guess, a social worker, or but my thing is, this is what people expect you to learn in college, or high school, or some educational setting, so you'll be ready and you'll know. And do you not know that you can go to the employment office and they can make referrals for Dress for Success? If you go to the employment office, again, knowledge is power. And this is why I'm saying what I'm saying now. So if people don't know, now you know. And hopefully you will not take this as he putting people down, but saying, hey, this brother has a point, and let me go to the employment office and let them know, hey, I don't have the clothes, so they can refer me to Dress for Success, and I can get a nice outfit free of charge. A nice outfit free of charge. So I think that's the thing. But knowledge is power. And that's why I am actually making this known. And I think it's critical. We talk about a lot of stuff on the beef sector and all of this, but I think it's critical.
Well, Pastor, I'm glad that you brought that up because I've utilized Dress for Success in my journey, and you're definitely right. They will definitely give you the necessities that you need to go in there and get that job. And
Hmm.
soon as you get the job, you can actually go back, and then they'll help you out until, like, you get your paycheck going. But yeah, it's resources out there. You just gotta put your pride aside, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is why we kind of lose, because immigrants come over and they can't believe we're not taking advantage of these items for us. And a lot of times we don't even know because we don't ask. And then you get ridiculed and maligned for talking about an experience you had in an interview, and what not to do. Now, by the same token that I was saying that some of the interviews did not go well, there was a sister who came in and she was on point. Her questions were well answered. She was poised. She was confident. She had a nice handshake. She knew about the company. Um, her follow up questions were really good, and I talked about her. So it's not all doom and gloom, but there are some people who really know. And then I know who's probably going to get a call back just from that interview. So if I know who's going to get a call back for the most part from that interview, then I think that it's my duty to say, hey, you all need to know these things. These are some things that you need to know. And it's not me trying to say that I'm better than somebody. That's ridiculous.
Can I jump in there right quick? Even also your Goodwills, they offer classes and things like that. So instead of like going out, taking out loans and going to school, see what your local Goodwills, what they offer as far as like programs, and if you meet the requirements, because sometimes, well, not sometimes, even if you meet the requirements or not, there is a fee that you can still pay and take that class.
Yeah. Do you not know in San Antonio they have so many training opportunities? Even the food bank they will teach people how to work the pallet jacks and all of these things, because then they'll hire people to even work for them. And I just think those things are critical if you really want it.
And then let me just say this
Well, if you
because
don't like the delivery, then that's not on me. That's how it was delivered. I'm sorry, that's how it's delivered. And the delivery was true. And my thing is, if you think my delivery is bad, then think about those deliveries from those corporations because
Mhm.
they won't even tell you. They won't even tell you. They'll sit there and let you be in ignorance. That's the sad part about it.
Yeah. And I misspoke earlier. I said that they was gonna think that she was drinking. I meant to say, she pretty much came there with her cocktail dress like she had just had a night out, you know, and that wasn't the place. Sometimes you got to, like you say, read the room, peep out the scene. But if you're applying for business, even if you have to get on YouTube, look at business attire. Look,
I
and
mean,
just
a nice pantsuit would have been even nice. I mean, there are
Yeah.
many acceptable ways to dress, but you're coming in a place of business, and the people are saying, "Is this person going to be able to represent us in a setting?" People are looking at that.
Mhm.
So I just think it's crazy, but everybody wants to have a slant. Everybody wants to, and I understand this content. I know some things may have been slow. I mean, and it is what it is, but I meant what I said. And I don't think I'm better than anybody else. You may not like the delivery, but that's the real reality of it. And sometimes you need to get the realness with no chaser. Here it is, straightforward. And I did say that I was really frustrated. I said it was a real rough day because of these interviews, and it's like people didn't even prepare for it. So it was some
So you
frustration.
were doing the interviews?
Hmm.
You were doing interviews today?
Yeah,
I'm so behind.
yeah. So,
Okay.
and like I said, I mentioned no
Yeah.
one's names. I was just giving scenarios of some things that were
How
glaring.
was the
That
trade?
yeah.
Hold on. How was the trade? Did the trade come up in there and get a job?
He cannot
Um,
violate company policy.
Well, because we're not talking about names.
no, I mean, I'm just telling you some scenarios that happened, and
Oh,
and that's it. So that's it. It was no trade. It was some people who came in that just it was just like, wow, you're not prepared. Um, we had to stop and say, hey, we don't want to know what you would do. I mean, we want to know what you've done. Not if I had that situation, this is what I would do. No, we want to know what you've done. So these are behavior questions. And again, it's the STAR method, which is situation, task, action, and result. And so that's what we're looking for. And, you know, and we go through it to let people know. But it's just an eye opener. It's just an eye opener. And it just goes to show you where people are. You had a lot of people fidgeting in the chair and weighing back and forth, and I'm like, you have to be aware of that. It's just a lot of little things, and interviewing well, you have to be conscious of some things, and you have to know something about the company, a little bit about the company, because that's the question they ask. So, what do you know about the corporation? And they're going to ask, and they're going to be listening. So, yeah.
yeah. Sir King, what are your
Anything else?
thoughts?
No, I totally agree with everything he's saying, and I just think I don't know. I just honestly don't know why you touch so much by this Jay Wilson because you know the person that said this is one of
Well,
your.
I no, I'm not touched, but I'm saying I'm first of all, I think it needs to be talked about. It's not even about being touched right now. It's something that's real. And I'm glad that it's being brought up because I think we do need to talk about it because I think that is something that affects everybody. If you gotta get a job or if you gotta do a resume or and so I'm not even worried about thinking you better than somebody because I know that that's not the case. I know that it's a real world out there and you have to be positioned to interview for certain jobs.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just think that right now, like you said earlier, they're dumbing down our younger generation to think that you could walk into a job interview with jeans and a t-shirt on. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think also too, yeah, I just think that it's done intentionally. I'm really looking at some things. I mean, they've taken a lot of things out of the schools, and it's just like, and I think it's to the detriment of the up and coming students. I just do. So, not knowing how to interview, ugh, yeah, and so I'm just saying what I need to say. I'm not really upset. Like you said, I know who it's coming from, but I think it needs to be a focus. And then people are always talking about it was the delivery, but the delivery was real, and nothing I said was incorrect. I mean, you have, and nobody want to see no chipped nails. I'm just sorry. Nobody want to see that. I'm telling you, people are looking at the whole picture, and then the resume. People are going to see your resume before they see you, and yeah, it's just interesting, you all. Yeah, 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 yeah. But that's all I had told. So I mean, she had it was so bedazzled, it was sparkly, and I'm like, and of course I didn't say anything, but you seeing people's eyes get big, and I'm like, see, and again, I'm looking at this thing happen in real time, and I'm like, this is yeah. And then the interview didn't go well either because again they didn't understand the questions. And it was always, well, I would do this. And it was like, no, what did you do? And so it was the after five dress. It was the after five dress, meaning that it needed to be worn after five.
So if she wasn't gonna get a job, she was gonna get somebody up out of there. Okay.
Well, it was interesting. So and I mean, and it's a panel. It's a panel of people, a panel of people. So, and that's the whole thing too. So now a lot of these companies you're interviewing with a panel. So there are a lot of people who are making decisions. And I just think that, people need to know that as well. And when you're interviewing with a panel, you have to give eye contact to everybody. I mean, it's
Yeah.
little things. That's it. It's little things. So
And some people
again,
they
you
don't
all, it is
realize.
what it is.
Some people they don't realize like when you go in there, you interview. Instead of you just going in there and sitting down, you just ask, is it fine if I go ahead and take a seat? The
Yeah,
small things.
yeah, it's a lot of things, but yeah, Queen Tulsa. So anyway, yeah, like I said, I'm not bothered. And every once in a while I entertain a troll or two. It's all good. I mean, it is what it is.
I
So
think Jay Wilson, you need to go into the explanation of why someone needs to have a strong handshake because a lot of people are thinking that as taking it the wrong way. So I think you need to go more into that. Why that's important.
well, it's confidence. Now, I'm not saying you have a strong handshake that you're gonna rip somebody's arm off, but it's a confidence thing, and no one wants a limp handshake either. And also, too, make sure you wipe your palms off. Nobody want no sweaty palms as well. It's just that thing of confidence, and I'm happy to meet you, and it's the confidence level of it. And no one wants, like I said, a lip handshake. You go in and you go in and you do what you got to do. Keep eye contact with people. Speak out so you can be heard. It's just a whole lot of things.
Okay, so
I couldn't pull her aside because we had interviews after. And again, it's not my job to do that. See, that's the problem. These are some things that should be learned in school. I didn't have time because it was interview after interview after interview.
no,
So when you have that, you don't have the luxury to run behind somebody and give them that. And then my thing is, would they would have, who's to say that they would receive it as well?
exactly.
Because that's so. My thing is, it's not up to me. They didn't solicit that. So hey, it's not up to me to do that.
No, and it's not Jay Wilson because she could turn around and say that he was sexually harassing her. So
Yeah,
no, it's not. Wow.
yeah. So that's not. Yeah, yeah. And even if somebody asks, we rarely do that because again, that's something you need to know, and that's something that you may need to again go to the employment office, Goodwill, someplace where they have that, or temp agency, so you can really get that because there are places where you can get the help if you need it. But you first of all gotta admit that you need the help. That's the big thing.
So do you think that thank you letters matter at the end to seal the deal?
It depends on the company. Some people don't like their emails being, so it depends. If I have the person's email, I will send them a thank you email. It used to be you could send a thank you note in the mail, but I do think in this day and age, a really solid email, if that's sufficient, would help. I think it kind of sets you apart, but it depends on company's policy and yeah, how they want to do that. Everybody is different.
Okay.
Somebody said, "Well, it's not your job to be on here." You don't know who I'm talking about. You don't know who I'm talking about.
And this is informative. This is educational.
It's-
Where
yeah,
are we
you don't know who I'm talking about. So at the end of the day, you don't know the person. You can't walk up to the person and say this and this because I said no names. I just gave a scenario.
going?
So you don't know who I'm talking about. I'm just telling you how things are done. So that's it. I
I
didn't
love
say.
lesson. I
Yeah,
think it's
I just think somebody's trying to be a butthead, but it is what it is. And I said what I said, and yeah, I do think, like I said, even if you don't dress in a suit, at least wear a dress shirt with some slacks and a nice pair of shoes. With that, I mean, preferably a jacket, because again, when you don't wear a tie, at least put a jacket on. I had to learn that. I mean, in the university setting, everybody may not know that, but at least wear that. And then again, know where you're going, know where you're interviewing, know something about the job. How does your past experience relate to what you're planning to do now? I mean, there are a lot of things that you have to ask. Why do you want to work at this corporation? I mean, and you have to have a good answer for that. And people can tell when you really haven't prepared. We rarely do, Nikki. We rarely do because again, it's not the corporation's job to give you feedback. See what I'm saying? I mean, I understand what you all are saying, but see, this is when I go back to the schools and the community agencies because we need these things. You know, I can only say when I was in college, we had career services and we did mock interviews. And we would have corporations to participate in the mock interviews. And if they like how the mock interviews went, they would hire us. But it was a mock interview, and they would tell us, "This is what I think you did well, and I think you need to improve on this." And they would actually have HR people to come and do mock interviews with us. So we had that leaving out. We were prepared. Well, you don't know, and I mean, ask a relative. If you think it may be your relative, then ask them. Ask them. Say, hey, did you do an interview? So if you think it's your relative, ask them. Yeah, in the States, it gets a little bit more dicier. It gets a little bit more dicier than the States. So, yeah, it really does. So, yeah. So, but yeah, so, y'all, we have Queen Tulsa and Sir King up. And, you know, I've pretty much said what I've said. Hold on for a minute. We have somebody else coming up. I'm going to change my banner out soon to you all because, yes, Jay.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Good, good. I really like this conversation you're having tonight because I actually work in HR and I work like in like recruiting and everything as well. So what you're saying is 100% correct. Like, I think people now, I see people like you said, that come in interviews. They're coming in looking like literally they rolled out of bed and like they didn't even wash their face and
Hmm.
like it's crazy and I think the thing with the younger generation is they have like an entitlement where they feel like, oh, you don't you need me, I don't need you, you need me. And so I think it's good that you're giving people these pointers because I think people feel like you're doing them a favor by coming to work, kind of. You know, and that's the thing. It's like, no,
Yeah.
we're actually supplying you for a job, and you actually need to show that you're actually want this job, and you want to work for the company. And you know, and I think that's something that the you know the other older generations actually took value in, and this younger generation they really don't.
Yeah. And Tina, you're right. Companies don't have time to teach job skills. They don't. They figure that that's the school and the college's job to prepare students and people to be ready. And when you're doing interviews back to back, you don't have time to do all of that stuff. You really don't. And y'all don't understand, like with the STAR method, it's a whole evaluation method where you uh, evaluate that person from 1 to 5, and everybody talks about it, and it goes from appearance. Did they answer the questions? And each question, did they answer the question? And you're looking, and was the answer good? So it's not like a fluff type of thing. No, we actually look at that with numbers, and I think that a lot of HR companies use it. And I think that and I don't know about you, JT, but again, with those STAR method questions, we don't want to know what you would have done. We want to know what you have done. You
Yeah.
know, and people don't get that, and they want to tell us, well, if I get the job, this is no. What did you do on the jobs that you've had? Have you been in situations like this, and what have you done? Because past behaviors will probably indicate what you will do in this job, and that's what we're really trying to see. And
Yep.
that goes beyond the dress. I mean, can you answer those questions? People get stumped on the question about what is your weakness, not knowing that I'm going to give you a weakness, but I'm going to tell you how I overcame that weakness, and people don't even get that.
Yeah.
So
You're supposed to tell pretty much, oh, this is something I'm weakness, but this is how I'm tackling it, and this is how I'm actually improving on this whatever this weakness was. So
yeah,
it's not like, yeah. So that's what you're supposed to
yeah,
say.
and so I'm not. But now people say, well, you think you better than people, and you downplaying people. I'm like, nobody is downplaying. For the mere fact we're sharing this information, it tells you that we're concerned about people, and we want people to take this information and use it. And somebody said, well, it's the delivery. Well, it is the delivery, but my thing is you need to step back and listen to what's being said. And if you think my delivery is bad, think about getting a situation where you don't get a call back, and you don't ever know what you've done wrong. And at least I'm telling some of the people some things that they may have done wrong. Not you all per se, but I'm sure now some people will think about it and say, did I do that? Or did I dress like this? Okay, then maybe that's why I didn't get the job. And I'm not telling any names, because I'm giving you scenarios and situations. And it's up to you to do that. But nobody thinks they're better than somebody. And I'm not even honoring that. It's just the mere fact that I think it's a discussion that we should have. And I'm more than happy to talk about this, because we talk about so many other things that are not really useful to us. But I think this is extremely useful, because this deals with employment and how to get in. And if you don't even know how to get in, that's it. Now, I'm going to tell you this too, JT and Sir King and um, Queen Tulsa. People got mad at me because I said you can't have a gold tooth and work at Delta, but I know you can't. I'm just, and this doesn't mean that you're a bad person, but that's not their image. They don't want that, and it is what it is. And I'm just telling you, yeah, we'll tell any flight attendant that as well. It's like, I don't know about that.
That's true, and that's just like somebody having a missing tooth. Delta won't hire them if they got a missing tooth, especially in the front.
Oh
So
my God.
I mean, the truth
Mm.
is the truth. But the question I wanted to ask JT, it is HR going to adapt? Because let's be honest, the younger generation is going to be the majority of the workforce. So are they going to adapt to the ways of the younger generation in terms of their style of dress and so forth. So that's what I want to ask him. But yeah,
You know, I know the military has. I know the military has. Uh, they've come to some middle ground with some people. They've offered a lot of counseling. Um, I do know that they have, but something has to happen. But I don't think it's going to. I don't know. You know, you have to learn how to solve problems, and you have to learn how to listen to people. I gave an example of there was a lady who kept coming in late, and it could have been like a really bad scenario, but I said, you know, I've witnessed you come in late 3 times, and these are the days that you came in late. I mean, so I'm giving her the days that I saw her late, and I'm like, what's going on? Is there anything that I can help you with? What's happening? I didn't come at her like you can't be late and know what's going on. What is happening? And she told me that, hey, I'm having childcare issues. You know, this is what's going on with my child's school. And now it's pushed back later and it's causing me to be late. So it helped. And I put out a, call to say, hey, does anybody want to switch shift? This is what's going on. And somebody really wanted to come in earlier and leave early because they wanted that shift. And so they had a chance to the shift, and she didn't come in late anymore. It was just the mere fact that she had childcare issues, and it could have been disastrous. But I sat and listened to her, and we came up with a viable solution that she kept her job, and it wasn't any tension because I approached her as like, hey, what's going on? Is there anything that I can help you with? I noticed you've been, late. And it's not like you. So what's happening? And then she explained. I'm talking about that kind of stuff. I mean, you're gonna get at, that's real life stuff. And I was asked that on an interview myself about a difficult time, and I guess that was a difficult time because, again, you never want to talk to people about tardiness, but it had to be done. But it was how it was done, and it just helped me. And then we came out with a solution. And that's what it was. I gave my situation, my task, my action, and the result. And she kept a job and she didn't have to get written up because of this situation. So I'm talking about stuff like that, you all, and that's real. That's real stuff. People want to know real life experiences. They want to know that you have been in the trenches and that you can have a decent relationship with people on the job. You don't have to like the folk, but you got to respect the people and listen to the people, and and I just think that was critical.
well, that's good. I mean, that shows that you're a good manager and you took the most empathetic approach because you couldn't
Yeah,
get people.
company policy does change over time. It does, and like I said, you all, but I'm just, we just gotta really keep those things in the focus. And let me say this, like Sir King said, he is a critic. He's a critic, and so, but right is right. And I don't think I'm better than somebody because I've given people advice. And now I'm hearing Sir King, well, it's how you did it. It's the delivery. um, Learn how to just focus on what's being said. There are a lot of people who have dry deliveries, people who have aggressive deliveries, but really listen to what's being said. I didn't call anybody out their name. I didn't call anybody stupid. Now, ignorance is not stupid. Ignorance meaning you don't know. And I'm ignorant of a few things. There are some things I don't know.
No, I think
So
your delivery was matter of fact because you had just got done dealing with the situation, and sometimes you need you need to have a stern delivery. When you come on here jovial, you fail to relate the seriousness of the situation, so you can't come on here happy. I think you were stern, but not like I don't think overly
Yeah,
disrespectful.
I don't think I was. It was really. I was really just. Yeah, I was really like floored. I was really floored about the interview and what was going on. They asked me about my future marriage. See, that's against the law. They can't do that. That's against the law. You can't do that. That's against the law. So asking people about their marital status or religion or it's against the law. Um, but yeah, so when I came up on the platform, I just finished up interviewing. I was visibly frustrated because the interviews were they were subpar. I'm not gonna lie, they were not good. It was only 2 out of 10 that were really good. And out of those two, one was okay, but then really one hit it out the park. And it was a variety of age groups, but the lady who was polished, she was middle age. I would say she was in her 40s, and she was polished, she was poised. There was a young guy. He was dressed, and his answers were good. They It wasn't a bad interview. It wasn't something that jumped out at me. But if I had to hire somebody, I would feel comfortable in hiring him, so that's how it was. But the other ones, it was like it was like no, no. And you all, it was just yeah, it was just not good. So I was a little frustrated. And then it goes back to the school issue. It's like there are certain things you do. Even in my religious upbringing, we had oratorical contest, and we had to speak before the congregation if we went to a convention, and the church usually paid for it. So we had to give a report, and we had to give a written and a verbal uh, assessment of what went on, and we had to do those things. So I don't know. And I see those things lacking now, and people are really not doing those things, and they're missing those skills. Again, you don't come to a interview 30 minutes early, maybe 10 at the most. 5, you might be pushing it, but at
So,
least
but
10.
why was that such a big deal? I didn't get that because usually people sit in the lobby or something. So
But
why
the
was
thing
that?
is, okay, so let me say, when people do that, we're busy trying to work. Then we get a call. Then we got to go up there and shake folk hands and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And it just takes us from what we were doing. Whereas, we expect you like maybe 10, 5 minutes. We're getting our mindset that okay, we got that interview coming up, so we're already in the mindset. But you come in 30 minutes and stuff. That's too early. You just need to sit in the car and then just walk out, or practice and then walk out, because it's too early.
Okay.
Because not only are you sitting in the lobby, but the receptionist, you taking her from her job, because now she's offering you water and all of this stuff, and she got things to do herself. Whereas, there is an expectation you're coming at this time as well. So sometimes you can be really too early, you know, and yeah, it just throws people off.
Do you see things getting worse based on the evolution of technology and the younger demographic in the workforce? Because obviously you saying they don't know certain basic skills.
Well, there are going to be always people who stand out, and they're going to be prepared no matter what. So there are some younger people who are stellar, but I don't see it overall as a group. Um, like I said, out of 12 people, only 2 of those people stood out as this is who I want to hire. You had people dress inappropriately. You had people, you never curse on a job interview. It's like, and it's like, and then you never tear down a job that you had before, you know, I didn't like this manager here because he did this. And again, you never know who knows who. And I think that's really important. It was a good learning experience for me. I gained a lot from that particular job, and so it was time for me to move on from there because I learned what I could there. I mean, that's how you do that. You don't want to tear down another place. You don't know that, especially if it's the same corporation, that not the same corporation, but if they do the same work, everybody knows each other. Everybody sees each other at these conferences and these meetings. So, people going to talk. And so you got to be careful even with that. Um,
That's true. That's true.
Maybe you in the wrong line of work if you can't control your I did control my emotions. I just expressed my frustration outside of that. So my emotions weren't shown in front of the interviewees. So that was not the case. I expressed it to help you all out and to let people know what they are doing. So I don't think there's a problem with me. I'm a human being, and I'm just being realistic of why it's frustrating because out of 12 people, only two really did a good interview. I don't think that's yeah. So you sound really weird there.
Well, at the end of the day, the people that's getting hired, you have to work with them. So, yeah, I would be side eyeing and, doing my job because I don't, I would not want somebody that's going to come on the job and has no ethics. The
Yeah.
workplace ethics are everything. And if you come in here looking shady, yeah, I'm side eyeing you.
Yeah. And let me say this. I wish
Have you
people
ever had
would.
a job? Quitosa, have you ever had a job?
Yes, I've been a supervisor and all.
Of what?
I will not be doctoring myself, but just know.
Of
Mhm.
erotica or office? So we talking about office work or erotica?
I've been a manager. I actually had 3 jobs when I met my husband.
Mm,
Legal jobs, yeah.
okay.
Can I say this? I would rather people use Chat GPT. At least the spelling and stuff will be right. Again, I saw like a resume where where the current job they they didn't have the present tense. It was the past tense. I'm like, no. If it's a present job, you supervise, you manage. You know, supervised is for jobs that you had in the past, and I saw those little things. It was really interesting, and I'm going to say this again, you all. um Felons don't always take you out of a running of a job. It depends on what it is, and it's some details with it. But it's harder for people who have spent some time in prison. It's unfortunate because I do believe that once people have done their time, then we should, you know, yeah, depending on what you did. If you Yeah, it depends on what you did. Yeah, it depends on the felony as well. But yeah, yeah, I think that's a big issue, and I think that's something. Hopefully that will change. But at this point, felons are relegated to certain jobs, and I think that's sad because it's almost like they want people to go back. These people are really trying to get a good job, but they can't get it because of the felons, or they can't have certain jobs. So it's really frustrating to these people. I don't think these people want to go back to jail. I think they want to be successful and thrive. Unfortunately, when they can't get a job, it's tough. And I will say this: if you are on probation and you have to go to a parole officer, or that can be challenging because if that parole officer calls you, you got to go. And if you don't have a job that's going to work with you, you may have a problem. And so the system really, I think the system really um, wants people back. I hate to say it, but people make money off of prisoners, especially these private prisoners that get contracts from the government. These people make boatloads of money. Then the food suppliers make money. I mean, everybody's making money. And then I truly think that these prisons are the new plantations because some of these prisoners don't get paid or get paid very little for doing work. So, y'all don't know how many things are made out of the prison system. So I'm just, yeah. And so I see things going on. Trust me, I'm aware of what's happening. And this is why, again, I think education is important. Even if, and I think I said as I was mentioning this, even if you have a high school education, make sure it's still solid. Make sure it's solid. Make sure you know how to interview on a job. And that's all I was saying. But I don't think I called anybody stupid or put down anybody. I just know, what's going on and what's happening. So yeah. Yeah, they make a lot of money off of prisons. They do. They do. They make a whole lot of money off of prisoners. So, but yeah. So you all, I'm not here to put people down. I'm glad that Sir King and Queen Tulsa are up here. And let me say this, you all. If somebody is right, even though I don't always agree with them, if it's right, it's right. If it's right, it's right. And the frustration didn't come because I don't know the people personally. The frustration came because people didn't prepare. They didn't know anything about the company. They had resumes that were not the best. The interview questions. I mean, can you all just imagine doing all those interviews back to back and they're not good interviews? It's like, and people be ready to go. I mean, it's like people be ready to go.
I got a question then. So who
Yeah.
did the screening of the resumes then if you're saying the resumes weren't good?
Well, it depends on positions. Depends on positions. Some people work low retail and some people were looking for management positions. So that's it. And yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been interesting. And like I said, and you're right, Sir King, there is a shortage of workers. Now, I'm going to say this, you all. They need workers so bad in Ohio. Like I was talking to a friend in HR in Ohio. She said, well, people can't pass the drug test. These people on meth so bad in Ohio, or they're on oxycodone and all of these other drugs that they can't even pass the drug test. And
Pizarro.
that,
Mhm.
this is what I was telling people. Greyhound and the bus companies, they will train you. At least the city bus people will train you. Long as you can pass a drug test and have an unencumbered driver's license, they will help you get your CDL. They will help, they will pay for it. But people can't pass the drug test.
Yep.
Or they have all of these DUI, DWIs. And it's decisions you make. And like I said, it's decisions you make. Look, I can't be mad at Sir King if he has a career or if he made the decision to further his education. Why am I going to be jealous or upset at him because he's doing that? Those are things he's doing to help himself. I'm never going to be mad at somebody who is trying to help themselves and move up in society. That's crazy. I'm not going to say, oh, Sir King think he better than somebody. No, this brother is trying to really move up, or this sister is trying to move up. You're gonna be jealous of somebody who's trying to do well. Are you serious? So it gets me to wondering, do people have issues? I mean, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
There you go. So going back to what you're saying, so do you think it's by design the legalization of marijuana So if you can't pass the drug test, then even if marijuana is legal, you still are
I think
illegal.
I think Amazon I think Amazon um I think Amazon is lenient on that. But when I think it comes to hard substances like narcotics and illegal substances, I think we get into a whole another set. Some jobs are safety related. You can't do it, period, because it's safety related. As a flight attendant, it's a safety related job. You got to get people off that plane, and you can't be stoned out of your gourd trying to evacuate a plane. So some jobs are safety related, and you have to be careful if you're using heavy equipment or sharp equipment. You can't be high as a kite coming in. So some jobs are definitely safety related.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
Some jobs you don't get hired if you don't pass the drug test. That's just it. And some companies will not hire until you pass that drug test. And you got to pass the drug test. And a positive drug test is a no go. It's a no go. It's definitely a no go. So yeah. So yeah, well, look, Sir King and Tulsa, you all have any last words? I'm done tonight. I'm glad I came on, but I think it's a discussion that we should have. I think education plays a lot into these interviews and how people are interviewing. I think it's a generational thing as well. JT said a lot of people feel like they're entitled and they look like they rolled out of bed. Um, and I just think some people don't know. And again, people are like, well, why don't you tell people? Well, like I said, when you're doing 12 interviews, and then you got not only the interviews, but you got other work that you need to do. You just don't have time. You just do not have that time. And it's not the corporation's responsibility to give you that feedback. I mean, if you want it, I'm sure, you know, some people may do it, but most corporations are not going to do it. They're not going to even. They'll send you a, a computer generated. The position has been filled, or after careful consideration, we're going to move on to other candidates. You'll get that letter, and that's it, and that's all you're going to get. So yeah, I just think that, and I'm telling you, some of you all now, why some of the people don't get those jobs. They don't interview well, or it could be a lot of things. And y'all got to realize that you're competing against other people, and it may be one little thing that will set that person off to say, hey, I like that follow-up question that they asked. Or you just never know. You never know. And so this is why I think those things are important. So
Well, Jay Wilson, I want to say thank you for your time. I appreciate you having this conversation. Because when you say people are competing against different employees, you got to understand you're also competing against people with different backgrounds.
yeah,
So, you know, there are
yeah,
some
for sure.
people more hip to the game than others. All right. So, thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank
Take
you for coming. I appreciate it.
care.
And Queen Tulsa, thank you for coming on as well. It was real tonight, and I hope this starts a dialogue with this, because I think these are this is a conversation that we should be having, and it's not a salacious conversation. It's not this. It's a real conversation.
Yeah. I want to say thank you for being a leader. I mean, whether people want to see it or not, I know what you do for the community. Um, and like you said, just keep showing up, and those that are here and whatever resonates with us, we take it, and whatever don't, we just leave behind.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time and your service.
Thank you. I appreciate you for coming up. Appreciate it. Trace your lane, boo boo. They said that I think I'm better than people because I gave advice on interviewing techniques, and they said it was the delivery. Now, I must admit, I was very frustrated after 12 interviews, and only two were really worthwhile. And baby, they So I was really kind of frustrated, not at the people, but at the interviews, the time, and I was just scratching my head because I'm like, this is just so weird. And so, you know, I did what I did. Somebody got a hold of it, and they said that I'm putting people down, and I think I'm better than people, and it was foolish, and it's not the thing. And I'm listening to people, and at the end of the day, they just don't like me, and it's okay. But I'm not going to stop telling people the truth. When you go for a job interview, you can't have chip nail polish. Your shoes can't be all scuffed up. People are looking at the whole picture. You have to learn how to answer those questions. You have to give direct answers what those people are looking for. And that's the truth. And yeah. And I mean, I'm just telling you the truth. I said nothing wrong. I told no lies. So you need to know something about the company. So if they ask you, so what do you know about our company and why do you want to work for our company? You can answer that question. And that may take some practice. That may really go on to the company's website and looking at goals and new projects that they have and their vision and mission statements. So and like I said, if you don't have money, Dress for Success is an awesome organization. And even when you get the job, Dress for Success will be there with you until you get your first paycheck to be able to pay for some clothes. Dress for Success, Goodwill, Salvation Army. It's a lot of people who will help you. There are a lot of not for profits and nonprofits who will help you with presentation. Presentation is one thing, how you look, then how you present is another thing. And I think those things are critical. So anyway, but that's what that was about, Spill It Boy. It was a good conversation. Of course, and it's the regular people who always got something to say, but it is what it is. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. So look, you all, have a great night. Spill It Boy. Anyway, it's something going on. It's funny, but anyway, I'll let you know. Y'all, good night. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.